Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And did you have your vitamin C? Okay, as you get your notifications, say hello. We'll do a little roll call. Say hello to our friends. Mike, you beat Brahim. Brahim, you're number 2 this morning. Andrea, Niagara Falls, good morning to you. And Marlene and Donna from PEI. And what is that? Danny? Manette, how are you? Anne, Moncton, British Columbia. Fran from Orangeville. Chantal, Ottawa. Nellie, good morning. Wendy, good morning from Markham. Wanda from Ridgeway, Ontario. John from Elgin, Illinois. Barbara, Nova Scotia. Jeanette, good morning from our staff. Shelley from Baxter. Jeanette, bonjour. And Donna, Park Hill. And Mary, good morning. Vince is on with us this morning. Norma from Texas. Judy, Newfoundland. Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec. And Janine from Kelowna. And Vancouver, Washington. Who was that? I didn't see it. Doris, I think it's because I got that got that white shirt. I can't see it in the white. That's my fault, guys. Rita, Wasaga Beach. Danny, how are you? And Jean, good morning to you. Heather, Miramachi, Mira, you guys know. Melika, Sylvie, Sault Ste. Marie. Linda, oh, we love those Lindas. Gary. And Herma from Burlington. And yeah, I got to get rid of this chart because I can't see. Okay, anyway, I'm going to do it. Put it over here, behind me here. There we go. Okay, now I can see Bonnie, Mary Ellen. I know I missed you guys, and we'll get going here just because, what do you want me to do? And Sharon, Wendy in Kansas, Liette Sturgeon. Okay, guys, 2 more and let's get going. Jocelyn and Marina and Sue. Thanks for coming on, guys. We more than appreciate it. Okay, now, we're going to go back to Friday's questions because I didn't finish. So we'll see here. I don't know if that's going to take up a whole program or not, but let's start. And let me just read one here as I open up my... this is from Kristen. And Kristen is asking, okay, was wondering Dr. Martin's opinion on cellular inflammation versus joint inflammation. Okay, well, there's a difference, okay? Now, when you say cellular inflammation, Christine, I say general inflammation, okay? Because if you have inflammation in your knee, okay, that usually is one of 2 things. You have an injury, okay? You have an injury, or you have degeneration in the knee from injury or just from repeated, who knows, aging to some extent, and that can happen. And probably 3 things, actually. And you could have a uric acid in your knee, like gout, okay? Now, so that's localized inflammation. And generalized inflammation is different because it's usually silent. You don't know you have it. The only way really to be sure that you have a generalized inflammation is if you take a blood test and do what they call a CRP, C-reactive protein. Now, let me explain inflammation again because it's always good to go over this, okay? Now, inflammation is a response in the body. So, for example, if you have a virus, a bacteria, you catch a cold, your sinus pain and your headache and sore throat or whatever, that's all inflammation. It's your body bringing, it's your body's response to an infection. So your body brings extra blood supply to the area. If you have a sinus infection, for example, and, the ambulance, your body has an internal ambulance system. It comes to the rescue. Okay. And you feel terrible. You ever catch a virus or, a bug? And, you can't even see the bug. They're microscopic, or a virus is even submicroscopic, and you feel terrible. But your body's responding to that infection by doing everything it can to kill it, increasing your white blood cells and your T cells, and everything is on high alert. And that's good. You want that. Okay? Now, the problem is if that inflammation doesn't go away. So if you have leaky gut, for example, and you have yeast or fungus, heavy metals in the body, your body responds to that. It says, hey, that doesn't belong in here, and I'm going to create an inflammation response. It's sort of a low-grade thing, and you wouldn't necessarily even know you have it. The problem with inflammation, when it's prolonged, at first it's on your side. But left unattended, if it goes chronic, if inflammation doesn't go away, it starts to destroy blood vessels. It destroys rather than heals. And therefore, inflammation, when it's chronic, is not good for you. Okay? It's not good for you in the long term. It's good for you in the short term. So you can have a localized arthritis in your knee, for example, and that's not the same thing. At least it stays in your knee. Whereas generalized, you called it cellular. It's part of the problem. Here's what we've always said at the Martin Clinic. Inflammation is not Houdini. There's a reason you have inflammation. Okay? It doesn't just pop up. There's a reason for it. Okay? Leaky gut, high circulating insulin or insulin resistance will create an inflammation response in your body. And inflammation, like I said, unattended, creates havoc. If you have lots of free radical damage in your body, you're exposed to plastics. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. That can create, like toxins, can create an inflammation response in the body. And long term, not good for you. So we call it, inflammation's not Houdini. It pours, it inflamed can be destructive to your body. Okay? And the real good test for it, to see if you have any inflammation, chronic, is to take a CRP, which is a C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is made in the liver, and it is a marker for inflammation. Now, you could have, if you have cancer, for example, your CRP would probably be through the roof. Why is that? Well, your body's responding, trying to fight the cancer. But again, if it goes on too long, inflammation is very destructive to tissue, to cells, to blood supply, damages the endothelial layer of your blood vessels, and that can create plaque inside your blood vessels. So there's a lot of negative things, Kristen, in that. And thank you for the question. It's a very good one. Okay, let me see. Let me get to our other questions here. And this is from Sue. What are your thoughts on micronutrient testing of white blood cells? Is it true it's more accurate than serum testing of nutrients? Have I ordered this type of test? In the past, yes. Can be very expensive. It's probably a better test than sometimes the serum. I'll give you an example. For magnesium, okay, 95% or even more of your magnesium is not in your blood. It's in your tissue. So if you take a blood test, my magnesium is normal. But if you take a tissue test, it's more expensive. There's very few labs that do it, but when they do it, you're going to get a better indication of really what your magnesium levels are. Okay. For example, I'm using magnesium. Potassium. I don't talk about potassium maybe as much as I should, but potassium is tightly regulated in your bloodstream. Your body can't let it go too low, and it can't let it go too high. And there's a whole area there in potassium that is sort of subclinical. So not always easy to test and find out if you're deficient, okay? But thank you for the question, Sue. Is it worth getting tested? Well, look, I'm a big guy on taking magnesium no matter what, okay? Because most people are very low in magnesium. They just don't know it, okay? And I've gone through the symptoms of low magnesium before, but maybe I'll go through them again. Just because when you got symptoms, take magnesium. It's good for you. Thanks for the question. Okay, Louise, doctor wants me to put me on amitriptyline for nerve pain in my foot. What does Dr. Martin recommend? Well, look, I'm not going to tell you, Louise, to do it or not to do it. I'm not your physician. You got nerve pain in your foot. Why do you have nerve pain in your foot? Is it a pinched nerve? Is it a factor, a metabolic factor like low B12 or high insulin and high blood sugar? Diabetics often have neuropathy. If you're low in B12, you can have neuropathy. And so if they want to put you on a medication for it, I'm not necessarily, look, it's a Band-Aid. It's not going to fix the problem. But I'm not telling you not to take it, okay? I'm not telling you not to take it, Louise. Thanks for the question. Cheryl, how does my 5 milligrams of amount of my iodine in my thyroid supplement compare to yours at 100 micrograms? Wondering which is better for you. Well, Cheryl, it ain't even close. Now, I'm biased, but I would take my thyroid formula over anyone's. And by the way, okay, I've said this to all of you before, and I'll do it again. I like iodine, but not too much of it. That's why my formula, you can use it even in Graves. Look, you need iodine, but iodine on its own for your thyroid, I'm not big on that. I like it, especially with selenium. Okay. Look at our formula, and I'll tell you, I'm sorry, and again, I'm biased, I admit it. But clinically, I had to get results in thyroid. Like if you got a thyroid problem and I give you something to help it, it better help. Otherwise, you're not taking it. And again, I just give you 10,000 of thousands of patients. And I would tell people too, read the reviews on our thyroid formula. It's pretty incredible. So, hey, I'm not saying yours is not good. I just be careful with that much iodine. I don't like that, to be honest with you. Okay? Now, Angie, are blue blockers safe? Eyewear, yeah. As far as I know. Okay? As far as I know, they're safe. Not a bad idea. If you're on your computer, you're on your smart device, you are on your, you name it, you got that light coming in, and blue blockers are safe. Have I found them helpful in my patient's health? Well, look, I can only go what they say. And let me see, I think I've read a few studies too that it does show that it's better, does block, helps with melatonin, and yeah, I mean, I've got some, I haven't seen a lot of research on it, but I think it does work. It's good. We especially kids, like they're always on these, they're playing games and they're on the computer, and mommy, when they're busy, they give them an iPad, play with this. Well, look, I mean, it's the way the world is today. I'm not going to change that. So protecting yourself is probably not a bad idea. Okay, and I think I've answered all the questions. Okay? Did I get clothes the other day? Salted beef, brisket in the brine, unhealthy. Why would that be unhealthy? It's salted. They blame salt for what sugar does. Salt will only bother you in terms of high blood pressure in the absence of water. Okay? Like if you're severely dehydrated, and salt can elevate your blood pressure, but it ain't salt, guys. It's sugar that's the culprit. Okay? Sugar's the culprit in high blood pressure, not salt. We've been going salt-free for years, the general population, and that's done nothing. We got more high blood pressure. What did I read the other day? Was it 50% of the population have high blood pressure? Hello? The answer's in front of us. It's food. And it's sugar, not salt. Okay. I think I answered these things. No, maybe I didn't answer all of them here. Okay, let me, Carolyn's asking about my white teeth. You like them? I do have nice teeth, don't I? And they're mine. Okay, what's the key? I think oil of oregano myself. I like to use oil of oregano. Brushing teeth with oil of oregano. Yeah, you can use toothpaste too, of course. But I like that oil. It only kills the bad guys, not the good guys. Very good for you. Good for your teeth. Good for fungus. Good for anything. Okay. Claude, did I answer this the other day? No, I did. Caroline, the culture that creates probiotics in dairy is added after the milk has been pasteurized. The bacteria is live. Well, now, hold on now. I just got to, they're adding probiotics to dairy. I got no problem with that. Okay? I got no problem with that. I love dairy. Don't switch. Don't ditch dairy. You know me. Switch it. I'm not big on milk. Not the one in the grocery store. So I don't think they're adding, Caroline, any probiotics to milk. Okay? Now, maybe they are where you are. I don't know. You can show me, and I'm open to reading that. I got no problem with that. Here's the difference, though. I think you need to understand this, okay? Probiotics are good. All probiotics are good, okay? But the best are two things. Broad spectrum, meaning they got at least 10 different strains of bacteria. Different bacterial strains do different things, okay? And I've been studying probiotics for 40 years or more. And I've always liked them, always loved the science behind probiotics, have talked about them for eons of years. But I've always said this, probiotics have to be broad spectrum. Well, therapeutically. If you got leaky gut, if you have yeast or fungus, if you have any autoimmune, okay, you need that friendly bacteria. Okay, and you need a broad spectrum. And secondly, I love soil-based probiotics. Like dairy-based, no problem. They're good. I'm not saying they're no good. If they have to be refrigerated, they're good. But they're not the best. The best are soil-based. Why? Because they last forever. They last forever. You can bring a blowtorch to them and you won't destroy those good bacteria in there. I like soil-based. And thirdly, you want a probiotic that is going to get past the stomach acidity in your body, in your gut, stomach. If you got a cheap probiotic, I'm telling you, it ain't getting past that acidity. So those are the things that I like. And so if you're telling me, and send me this, okay? Send me a little bit more, Caroline, if you can, if you're listening. Send me more information on what you just said. The culture that creates probiotics in dairy is added after the milk has been pasteurized. Send me that. I want to read about it. And I just want to be more updated, okay? I'm always reading. You guys want to send me studies that you read that you think that I haven't read? Hey, send it to me. I'll read it. I got no problem. I look at studies all day long and information all day long. I do. Now, Gail, I don't think I talked about this the other day. I don't remember. I would like to know what Dr. Martin thinks of Ray Peat's, P-E-A-T-S diet and his philosophy, eating more carbs and only certain carbs. Look, Gail, good question. Thank you. Okay. I don't know Ray Peat. Okay. But I know Repeat. Okay. I don't know this guy. Okay. I don't. I read a little bit about him, and he likes certain carbohydrate. Here's what I got to say, and this is a repeat, not a repeat. Okay? When you are in the 93% of the population that has metabolic syndrome, 93%. Metabolic syndrome means you have insulin resistance. you and insulin don't get along. If you're in that category, 93% of the population are. It climbs every year because people are not getting the memo. And Ray, good for him. Okay? I disagree when you're in the 93%. Because when you're in the 93%, here's a fact. You and carbs don't get along. You got a bad relationship to them. Oh, Dr. Martin, I don't like that. I know you don't like it, but that's a fact. Okay? So you're much better eating eggs, meat, and cheese that has no carbs, almost none. You don't need carbs. I'm not saying you'll never eat them. I'm just telling you, you don't need them to survive. Okay? You don't. Ask the Inuit. Okay? They don't need carbs. They eat blubber. They eat protein and fat. And mostly fat. And they thrive when they do that. The only time they get sick is when they eat our food. Processed fast food. Now look, I'm not against people eating some fruits and vegetables. When they're metabolically well, you can have some vegetables. You can have fruit. Don't live on them. I always say it. It's repeat, repeat, repeat. You don't live on the plant kingdom. Your brain will shrink. You will no longer be a fathead. And it's not good for you in the long run. You want fat and good fat. Not found so much in the plant kingdom, it's in the animal kingdom. Okay? Now, if you want to have some olive oil, good for you. You want some coconut oil, good for you. I got no problem with it. But don't live in the plant kingdom. Live in the animal kingdom. Because we live in a different world. This is the point I make all the time. The world in which you and I live in is completely different than when I was living as a kid in the 1950s. It's not the same. The world has changed. We changed the sugar. God gives us sugar, and we changed it to high fructose corn syrup. We had flour. When it says man shall not live by bread alone, when Jesus ate bread, it's not the same bread that we eat today. Okay? It was stone ground and all the nutrients in there, all the B vitamins. It was much higher in protein than bread that we get today. Because we now use rollers. And it's mass processed. The first fast food was sliced bread. It was a fast food because it's very starchy, devoid of nutrients. That's why you have enriched bread. Take all the vitamins out when you stone ground you had all the vitamins still in there. But then when you mass produce it, roller pressing on the wheat, the flour has changed, my friend. We live in a different world. I mean, there's a lot of good things, but there's a lot of bad things. And one of the things, we got duped by food. People today will look at cereal and say, that's better for me than a piece of steak. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. There's not a cereal in the world that even comes close to a piece of meat. There's not a cereal in the world. But you see, the world, I don't have fiber. Dr. Martin, I need fiber. Okay, well, drink water. Have a coffee. Get all the fiber you need. But they made it fiber like the king of the castle. No, protein is the king of the castle. And we got people that are living on salad. Oh, Dr. Martin, salad. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mean, there's some protein in there, but it's not bioavailable. Your body, you're not a rabbit. You're just not. You don't have the enzymes to break that down properly and to get the nutrients out of it. I'm not saying you can't have any, but don't live on it. So, okay? I hope I answered your question. Okay? Ray Pete. And I think I did answer the rest of them. I really did. Okay. All right. If I didn't answer your question, send me a note. Okay. Guys, we got a great week coming. Okay? I'm going to get into new study on, just read it yesterday or the day before, on microplastics. It's worse than we thought. Wow. Guys, we live in a different world. Okay? Unless you're planning to leave the planet, maybe with Elon Musk, you have to learn to adapt to this world. It's just the way it is. If you think you're going to get rid of plastics, good luck with that. I don't care where you go. And the more they study these plastics and microplastics, the more they realize it's everywhere. Not going to get away from it. And it would be better, okay, and I'm just going to say something political. And you can come after me if you want. It would be better that we cleaned up the environment than worried about the climate. Okay? But that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen, in my opinion. Anyway, that's just a political thing. Okay? And you can come after me. You have your opinion, I have mine. Guys, we love you dearly. Okay? I thank you for my audience. I do that. I'm very, very, very thankful for you guys. Okay? We appreciate you big time. Okay. And send in your questions for this Friday. Okay? We appreciate it. Okay, guys. Love you dearly. Talk to you soon.